You're listening to Fast Facts, Ask the Expert with Tom Viola. Welcome in, everyone, to Fast Facts, Ask the Expert with Tom Viola. Tom, thank you for being here.
Andrew, thank you so much. You know, it's always a pleasure. I appreciate the time, buddy. Thank you.
I love it. I love it. Well, I got another one for you. We're talking about drugs. We're talking about things that are popular in today's society. One of the things right now is just raging right now is the semaglutide and Tirzepatide and GLP-1s, whatever you know them as, Wegovy's, Ozempics, whatever. So I was hoping we could shine a little bit of light on one. This feels like it just blew up over the last 3 years. What is happening? How does it work? Are there potential pitfalls? Like, give us the lowdown on what's going on here.
Absolutely. So one of the award shows that was just aired a couple of days ago, the MC said, "Welcome to the award show, Ozempic's biggest night." And yeah, it really was. If you look around the audience, it's true. I've seen a lot of people with svelte, if you know what I mean. Like, wow, you've lost a lot of weight. How did that happen? I don't think it's the keto diet. Okay. So
Right.
I think, semaglutide is an amazing drug because it's useful for treating both type 2 diabetes and, of course, obesity, as the drug Wegovy. It's one of the few examples of a drug that can have two different brand names because it has two different approved indications. So, semaglutide as Ozempic for the treatment of type 2 diabetes, and Wegovy is for the treatment of obesity, plus Ribelsis is the new oral tablet version of semaglutide that will really, I'm sure, at some point blow up if it's ever approved for weight loss and treatment of obesity, because it's no longer injectable. Now it's an actual tablet you can swallow. But why this matters is because the demand was so great for semaglutide and now Tirzepatide, as you referred to, Mounjaro and Zepbound, the two forms of the drug. One's used for treatment of type 2 diabetes, one's used for obesity. The demand for these drugs was so great that we literally ran out, that there wasn't enough drug made to account for all the demand. This was unfortunate for the type 2 diabetics who really needed it to treat their diabetes because it was all gobbled up by people who were trying to use it to lose weight. Compounding pharmacies got involved to kind of fill in the blank, the shortfall. And some, I would say, rather unscrupulous places that cater to people who want to lose weight are selling their own homegrown versions, their homemade versions of semaglutide and Tirzepatide. Plus, people are buying it over the counter in other countries, from South America, Europe. They're buying it from Canada. And the problem with that is it invites drugs that aren't necessarily what people think they're buying. And it invites this counterfeit part of the industry that's really ugly. So you're buying what you think is semaglutide, but really isn't semaglutide. You're buying what you think is Tirzepatide, and it's not Tirzepatide at all. And some people who have already complained about this ended up getting, stimulants, which they thought was semaglutide. So why do we care? What's our concern in dentistry? Well, realize these drugs work to help you lose weight because they do two things. They slow down gastric emptying time. So when you eat a meal, you feel full longer. And that means it squashes your appetite and you're not really hungry, and therefore you don't eat. Also, these lower your blood glucose after you eat. So again, the craving, the highs and the lows, the crashes that occur with some other diets don't really occur when you're using these drugs because everything is sort of, subdued. The problem, I think, if anything, is really because people want to use these drugs to lose that very last stubborn 10 pounds of visceral fat, typically in their midsection, which doesn't go easy because it's visceral fat. So they end up using too much and not eating enough. And that can end up causing things like gastroparesis, which goes beyond when you stop taking the drug. So gastroparesis is literally paralysis of your gastrointestinal system. And now, even after you stop using it, you can't eat. And that can lead to all sorts of problems, as well as now we found out that it can cause suicidal ideation. It can cause a particular form of retinopathy or vision loss. It can cause increased risk of thyroid tumors and even kidney disease, as well as pancreatitis. So I guess ultimately, like everything else I've asked when I've been teaching pharmacology all these years, is the benefit outweighed by the risk? And I think there is some great benefit to both semaglutide and Tirzepatide, but honestly, I don't know at what cost losing weight ultimately works out and the balance compared to the risk.
Let me ask you this, and this is maybe a question you want prep for, but the injectable portion of it, how does that part particularly work compared to like the oral route? Because it just seems like those are two completely different mechanisms for your body.
Yeah, so Ribelsis is an oral form because they've worked to able to stabilize the drug so that you can swallow it and won't be destroyed by gastric acid. But it supposedly has the same effect as if you injected the semaglutide directly. I would say that some people are, I would say they're not trusting so much of the Ribelsis tablet because they feel it's not proven. They know their friends, they know their relatives, they know their Hollywood celebrity idols who've all used Ozempic as an injectable drug, and they want to do the same because they know it's tried and true and it's been proven to lose weight. Some people have a better time losing weight than others, just genetics, for example. And some people just have the ability to control cravings more than others. So everybody wants the same outcome, but doesn't always get it. And that leads to frustration. And, if you tie in peer pressure with that as well, I can see why suicidal tendencies may be an outcome of using these medications. I can see that as an outcome, unfortunately.
Yeah. Dang. Well, I hope everyone's being really careful about it. Tom, if they wanted to ask you any further questions about this or other topics that you might cover, how can they find you?
Anytime on my website at tomviola.com or anywhere on social media at Pharmacology Declassified. Thanks so much, Andrew.
Thanks. Thank you for listening to Fast Facts Ask the Expert. If you have a topic you would like one of our experts to answer, simply email me, Andrew at ataleoftoahygienist.com, and we will get it on the air as soon as possible. Thanks for listening.